everyone, this is Marcella Bremer again, and I'm so glad that you are back and you made it this far in the video series. This is our third video, and I'm going to talk a little bit more with you about 21st century great workplaces. So, great workplaces, we walked through this topic. There are many challenges that we're facing in this century, and they are asking for a specific approach to the workplace and to change. So let's take a look at those challenges briefly. Then we're going to take a look at the features of the winning workplaces that we all want to build, of course, or where we want to work. I'm going to discuss some of the frequently asked questions that people ask me. And then last but not least, I'm going to give you a preview on the Culture Change online video training that might be very relevant if you want to build this great workplace for this century. Let's go. The challenges in our fascinating, exciting and interesting century, as you may agree. Capitalism and materialism questions. The growth of our economies is a big challenge for our environment, of course, and there is a lot going on at the moment, and this is causing a lot of changes in the future, in the near future. I think we recently had an economic crisis. We're still suffering from that crisis or recession. Many countries and institutions and banks have a lot of debt. There's questions about dollars and euros and how planet Earth is going to keep up the pace of this growth, this materialism, capitalism. So I think it is quite exciting and also sometimes a bit scary when you look at all those developments. But it is a fact, it is happening around us, and here we are, and we'll have to deal with it. Another challenge that we discussed is that how technology is changing rapidly and how it is connecting everyone and everything together. It's tying everything with everything, and it enables a lot of connections and collaborations around the world more than ever before. It makes it so easy, and it's also much easier and much cheaper than ever before to hop on a plane and travel somewhere. So this is causing a lot of global change and global connections. And then we have in a lot of countries around the globe, we have a degree of wealth that enables us to be safe, to have enough food, or too much food sometimes, and to live very prosperously, to live okay in our families and our towns and so on. And now we seem to be heading for the next step in Maslow's pyramid, and we're ready for more development. So we want self-actualization, we want to learn more, we want to prove that we matter and that we can contribute something to the world. So more and more people and professionals are reaching that level of going beyond material wishes, safety and basic physical needs towards self-actualization, learning more, self-development and proving that you do matter. And then there is also the immaterial economy. So in most Western and developed countries, we provide a lot of services, information and experiences. And that is a bit different than manufacturing material products, which is very important as well, and we still need them and we all enjoy our products. But in a lot of countries, it's a lot about service, information and experience that matters. And even when you're making products and you're selling them, the new customer wants to relate with you first, wants to connect before they buy anything. So that's very important. And because of all those challenges and things going on, it matters how we feel at work. And this is where organizational culture comes in so handy as a great vehicle to create a great place to work for the 21st century facing all these challenges with today's professionals, and we can really use it in 7 feasible steps to create successful change. Those great places to work, we'd like to lead them, we'd like to develop ourselves, we'd like to have a purpose there and do great things with great people. It's a very basic human need. Great places to work will have a competitive advantage in this new economy, in this century. And what makes them so great is that they will balance collaboration and creation, relations and results. So these are different aspects of a winning mix for great places to work. And we have seen, and we have covered that in one of the videos before, that today's professionals climbing the Maslow's pyramid now enter a phase where they are motivated by autonomy. So being able to do work on your own terms, mastery, so to learn and get better and improve on what you're doing, and then the purpose, so the meaning in your work and in your life, to have the feeling that you actually contribute to the world or your society or your organization, and that you matter. And we have also seen in the competing values framework that I was showing you in the other video, that if you look at those features of great places to work, that they align very well with the upper part of the competing values framework, and that is they have features of clan and adhocracy cultures. The clan culture is the green box, remember, it's about relations, it's a very people-oriented culture type, and adhocracy culture is the yellow culture, and that's about inspiration, creative, entrepreneurial, thinking of new things, innovating, and doing all this. So clan and adhocracy culture types align very well with the challenges and the people in the 21st century. We also see this in research. OCI Online, my company that offers the tool online, is building up this database, and worldwide we see a very clear upward shift. So if you ask people around the globe, anywhere, in all different kinds of sectors and so on, what would you like to have as a preferred culture? What is your desired situation? What would you like most at work? Then it is clan and adhocracy cultures, and there is no doubt about that. It's a very clear shift. It's so huge even that it starts to look like a paradigm shift coming. So it's really important, and it aligns very well, nicely with autonomy, mastery and purpose, and with balancing collaboration and creation, with balancing relations and results. So it is about the best mix for your organization to become a great place to work and to be able to respond to all this that is going on. So clan and adhocracy cultures are very important, as we've seen, but you also need a touch of market culture, of course, because we need to have performance. We need to stay competitive, and we need to produce clear results. And also hierarchy culture, because we all need some clarity, a good structure, lean and smooth processes, efficiency, so that is valued as well. But I think the focus for this century is on clan and adhocracy cultures, while Frederick Taylor 100 years ago was working in the bottom quadrants of market and hierarchy culture more. So it is a shift of focus, but we need all of it. So no culture type is better than the other. It's about the right mix, and sometimes it suits you better to have a different mix. But this is interesting when you look at the general trends that we can see this. That is great workplaces, but when I was telling you about this on a conceptual level, and when you bring it down to a more practical level, what does it mean? What workplaces are winning in this century? What do you need to have? It's very important, clearly, to care for people. and not just as a nice mission statement that you hang on the wall and you say, yeah, we're care for people, but really care for people, and it shows from your behavior, from what you're doing, from what you are rewarding, that you really care for people. And caring for people means caring for your employees as well as your customers. So those are two sides of one great winning medal, really. To value your employees and your customers. So customer focus is great, but employee focus comes first, maybe. So managers give attention to people around the workplace, and you see your professionals like great professionals and human beings. They are people, and because of they have a relationship with you, they like to connect with you, and you will get a great performance like we have seen in video 2. So it's really important to know how to give attention, and that's not about love and peace and hugging people all the time at work, but seeing them, acknowledging them, recognizing them, complimenting them, giving them feedback, and coaching them. Winning workplaces contribute to society, to a town, to great purposes, to the world, if you like. So it's very important to give more meaning and to provide a purpose for people that they'd like to commit themselves to and gather around and collect as a great team to work on that purpose. And that is about having a great vision, inspiring others, and really making a difference. Those winning workplaces engage educated professionals. And I think I've said enough about that in this video series. Really engage your people, use the intelligence and the energy and the ideas from different spots, from all places in your organization. And you need to have them engaged and educated and accountable, because they all together have to respond to all these challenges and things going on. And you entice your people to learn more, you contribute to their self-actualization, you entice them to learn, to experiment, to innovate. And this is good for your professionals, because it gives such a good feeling to find out what you are able to do. But it's also good for an organization as a whole, because it contributes to more innovation and openness and great performance in the end. And you include people. So winning workplaces are very inclusive. They have inclusive cultures where differences and diversity is not only respected but utilized as well. And that is not just about, hey, so nice that we all have different perspectives. It's actually contributing to improving your workplace, to having great ideas, to innovating, to new product lines, to new service lines, because you are using people from all places with different perspectives, and they will relate to their target audiences who are just like them. So from an ethical, human point of view, it's great to utilize diversity and to respect differences between people, but also from a very business point of view, it is a wise thing to do. So this is in more detail what winning workplaces are about and what they should focus on in order to be successful in this exciting century we're in. Okay, now we've covered a lot so far, and I'd like to share with you some frequently asked questions that people ask me when it comes to this kind of new workplace and 21st century change. And one of the things is, okay, that makes sense, you know, it's good to hear this, but can people skills be learned? And the answer to that is yes. You learned how to walk, you learned to talk, and we have learned that, so we can also learn people skills. Of course, some of us are better at it than others. You know, that's perfectly okay, but we can all improve our people skills. And we have seen how important they are in our service information experience companies. So we can learn to become better at giving honest feedback, genuine compliments, coaching others, helping others do their work better, listening, communicating better, being clear, being confident, being assertive if necessary, and telling somebody that it's not possible what they want, in being polite, in relating to them, in becoming great role models, great leaders, respecting differences, helping others develop. I think we can all learn those things and we can get better at it, all of us. So the answer is yes. Shouldn't people work rationally? Yeah, that is great. This is a question, that people get. So, okay, we shouldn't pamper all our employees in the workplace, and they should, stop whining and just give me this turnover and good profit figures that we need. Okay, let's be rationally about this. It's just a workplace, okay? Yeah, that's right, but we bring our personalities to work and our emotions. And we all know that when we're not feeling well because we're going through hard times in our private lives or some other things that are not okay, we bring that to work and it affects our results and it affects how we sound, what we look like, what we say to our customers, how we treat our co-workers, what we do and what we don't. So it's great, it would be lovely if everything was rational, but it is not. So we bring our emotions to work, and a lot of decisions, also in the boardroom, and this was from research, are very irrational. So people decide based on emotions and based on projections or based on their own perspectives and worldviews that may or may not be true. So welcome to reality. We are not rational creatures, and we also have emotional considerations that we should take into account. Also, by the way, stock exchange markets, shouldn't they work rationally? They don't. It's all about emotions. Can culture be assessed? Well, if you have watched video 2, you know that it can be assessed indeed. Cameron and Quinn developed the competing values framework, and the OCAI tool is validated. And this is really a quick and nice tool to assess culture. So you can actually assess culture and have a great starting point for your change. The answer is yes, with this tool you can. Can behaviors be changed? Yes, because we are changing our behaviors all the time. We're not doing the same anymore like we were when we were in kindergarten. We change our behaviors all the time. When we enter a different context, we change our behavior. You will treat your mother-in-law differently than your boss. We change behavior all the time. We learn. We have all learned to use our mobile cell phones. We have learned to use iPads. We have learned to drive cars. We're not hunting mammoths anymore. We're not in the 19th century or anywhere else. So we change our behaviors all the time. We learn new professions. We do different things, and behaviors can be changed. Sometimes, of course, it is difficult. If you want to stop smoking, if you want to start a diet, you need a lot of motivation, you need willpower, but what else? It's coming from inside of you, but what else do you need? Support. You need a context. You need a group around you, people who say, you weren't smoking anymore, or should you buy cigarettes again, or hey, don't buy crisps, don't buy ice cream. When it's not in your fridge, you will not eat it. So you can help yourself by changing the context, so the outside-in change of behavior, the inside-out with a great motivation, but also you can use the others. We all need support. We all have bad days that you need somebody else to tell you, hey, weren't you the one who... Okay, that's right, thank you very much. So behaviors can be changed indeed. And if you use group learning and the leverage effect that a whole group can give you when we are together in a change, when we are joining a diet program with a whole team, we have a much higher chance for success. So behaviors can be changed, especially if we help each other change in groups. And then, of course, you know, Generation Y. If I talk about this, I label people, and isn't that putting people into boxes? Yes, but you know, a competing values framework, a 21st century, those are all big categories, concepts and boxes that we use to simplify complex reality. So of course, Generation Y has some features, and there is research supporting that they have a different mindset and different behaviors, but that doesn't mean that we cannot adopt those mindsets and behaviors. And maybe it's most eminent and prominent and clear in Generation Y, but we are all changing our mindsets because our context, our global markets, our technology and everything around us is changing. We are all adjusting our beliefs and behaviors. So Generation Y is a very good example of a bunch of features that we can see evolve in the human species and the human mindsets and behaviors, but we're all following. We're all becoming 21st century people, and we're all changing in that direction. So yes and no, you know, it's an easy way to label, and you know, don't take offense, because it's very feasible to have some nice categories and say, hey, this is the kind of mindset and behavior that we're talking about. So Generation Y is just a great example of the new mindset in this century. Okay, one last frequently asked question: does culture matter? I'm sure you're not posing this question. I'm sure you have watched the videos. You know that human mindsets and behavior matter so much when you're providing services, when you're in an information economy, when you're having experiences in the economy. You know that culture matters, and that it directs organizational effectiveness and performance completely and all the time. You know all this, and you know that the 70% failure rate of organizational change comes from people who wonder if culture matter. And you know, they somehow, you know, they liked Frederick Taylor and his positivist approach with measuring everything and figures, and that's okay, and I really appreciate the innovative work that he did a century ago. But now it's 2011, we're approaching 2012, we're in the 21st century, and we know that it matters how we feel at work. And please feel free to explain that to anyone who is still questioning this. And if they are questioning this, I sometimes question them, because did they evolve? Are they developing themselves? Hello? Wake up to this time. Okay. We're going to the next slide. I'm not here to insult anyone, but I think it must be said that some people still haven't got it. And we're here to help them understand. So please spread the word, and we develop the workers, the workplace, and the world. It matters. Culture matters. It matters for performance, for service, for innovation, for everything in the workplace.